Right, hello there everyone. Welcome back to James Redmond TV and welcome to another Transfer Daily show. There we go, got it out there in the end. Before we get into all the news that is about to take place, I'll obviously do a brief and whatnot as we do at the start of every show. Welcome to everyone on the stream. Make sure you're smashing the likes. Make sure you are subscribed. And if you want to become a member to support the channel, you can do so by clicking the link in the description. It is very much appreciated, as well as gets reinvested back into the channel. And also make sure, another essential of the Transfer Daily show, Redmond Roundup, you've got to have a cup of tea. And also, if you would like this mug, this absolutely sensational mug, you know, no if buts or maybes, only absolute, then make sure you get it off That Guy's Jokes link. It will be in his bio on Instagram. Anyway, people, pointless plug, but you know what? That Guy's Jokes, he's the main man. He's helped me a lot over my time on being a public sort of LFC fan. Public LFC fan, because I've always been an LFC fan. But no, shout out to everyone in the chat. Obviously, as you can tell by the title, there is some stuff to get into. Let me talk over the brief before we get into anything. So Liverpool reportedly make an offer for David Alaba. Now that's something that's exciting. Obviously, we need to question the substance of how true this could be, but we will get into that in a minute. Also, Liverpool reportedly held talks with Ozan Kabak, and then finally we're going to go into a player who's actually out on loan for Liverpool at the moment in Marco Grujic, and some comments that he came out with very recently. Anyway, so we'll start off with David Alaba. Not the longest of shows today, people, but also make sure you're on the channel for later. Liverpool Aston Villa preview. Oh my goodness, not a preview that I really get excited to do. Do you know what I mean? I really don't. That being said, it's a game that I'm looking forward to, in the fact that it'll be some sweet revenge, but that will be live either 8 or 8:15, because I will also be on Expression's YouTube channel doing a show there at 7. So a lot of stuff to get into today, a lot of work, but let's get into the transfers first of all. So first off, David Alaba reportedly being offered a deal by Liverpool Football Club. So this is reported from an Italian journalist close to Juve, who has also been linked with Alaba, Juventus that being, and he confirms Liverpool matched Madrid's offer at €10 million a year. Now, if this was to be true and Liverpool were to get this deal over the line, Alaba would join at the end of the season, because obviously he's in his last year of his contract, which therefore means that if he's in his last year, he'd have to join at the end of the season. So he'd still be their player until May. So anyway, that's that news there. And one thing I want to try and just add to that news is, obviously, like I said, left, right and centre, we have just been given link after link after link for centre-backs, and it's been frustrating because as a Liverpool fan, we all know that we need a centre-back, but Jurgen Klopp has came out and he doesn't seem too confident that Liverpool are going to get a centre-back, and I don't think there was a quote that I saw earlier from Jurgen Klopp. What was it? It was basically like him saying that, listen, if Liverpool could tell that we were going to get 3 centre-backs injured, then we would have prepared better for this situation. But the thing is, we simply couldn't have, or something along those lines. And I read it, and I get why Jurgen Klopp says things like that, but I also kind of just disagree to an extent that we need a centre-back, but we shouldn't have went into the season with 3 senior centre-backs. We shouldn't have only had the availability of a Joe Gomez, a Virgil van Dijk and a Joel Matip, when one of them centre-backs, arguably 2 of them centre-backs, are always injured. So how can you come out and say, oh, we were prepared going into the season, when we weren't? And Liverpool fans were calling this out. We were saying, oh, so who are we going to replace Dejan Lovren with? We never ended up doing it. And I understand neutrals can come on here and laugh and be like, oh, it's Dejan Lovren, but he's still better than Nat Phillips and Rhys Williams, at least from my knowledge. They might not stay that way. Rhys Williams could get much better. Nat Phillips could get much better, but they're not established, and we can't trust them to keep us in a title race. It's simple as, people. And that is why I always think someone like David Alaba would be massively important to Liverpool. Look how important Gini Wijnaldum is to Liverpool. Look how important James Milner is to Liverpool. And I talk about them too because not only the versatility that they offer, but they're also very reliable. David Alaba is a very similar type of player. He will play anywhere on that pitch that you tell him. He will give to the best of his ability. And because he's a good footballer, he will get away with it. Therefore, that's why I want David Alaba. Oh, did I mention as well, when I've talked about him before, he's a proven winner. He's a proven winner. What do Liverpool want in a squad where we've just won the league and the Champions League? We want winners. David Alaba is essential to that. Now, the only thing that can get in the way of this deal is obviously Real Madrid. Alaba seems to have more sort of want to go there. And not only that, they seem to be very, very keen to get David Alaba in. But the reason why they want him is because they know the quality he possesses and what he will add to their squad. Liverpool can notice this, and it's free. And I understand the only issue about this deal, it doesn't solve our problem right now in terms of centre-back, but still, what a great time to go out and get a centre-back. And well, he's not even a centre-back, he's a left-back, centre-back and DM, and then get him in for next season. Boom, just another option that you can have to think in mind, because Jurgen Klopp's talking about how could we foresee this. Well, you're right, we couldn't foresee this, but at least now you can be prepared that this situation can happen. And when you're going for trophies, you need to be ruthless. Man City, do you think when they bought Riyad Mahrez, they needed Riyad Mahrez? No, they still had Bernardo Silva, they still had Raheem Sterling, Leroy Sané. They had some world-class wingers, but they went out and got him because it weakens an opponent in Leicester. It stops teams like Chelsea and whatnot getting him, and then it helps you in the long run. Even if he doesn't turn out to be great, it's just one of them things. You might as well take a chance based on his quality alone. And I don't know if people agree. I don't know whatnot, but it's one of them things, mate. Like, leave it in the comments what you think, because I'm very, very interested. I would love David Alaba at Liverpool. People can mention his age, but listen, we're in a time where Liverpool's squad and Liverpool's team is the strongest it's been either ever or in a very, very long time. And therefore, we can do with just further improvements. Did we need Thiago? No, we went and bought him because we know that he'd improve our squad. David Alaba improves our squad. I don't know if he gets in the starting 11. He probably could be. But even if he didn't, just having him available just as an option. And with the injuries that this squad gets, let's be honest, Alaba's playing at least 30, 40 games in the year. So if you ask me, my little old opinion, I'm getting David Alaba if these rumours are true. But obviously, we need to see more reports before we can say that this is actually a true advancement from the club. Anyway, people, let me read a few of the comments if you have any thoughts. People are asking me what my thoughts are on Real Madrid, Salah to Real Madrid. I've spoke on that. I don't think it's going to happen, to be fair. Real Madrid are obviously need the strengthening, so they need to go out and not just rely on young players that they've got. They need to go and look at a Salah. They need to look at an Alaba. People who are proven, because that's how you win trophies, isn't it? Tell me how many players Liverpool... how many players chooses Liverpool over Real Madrid. Also, we can't match the wages Madrid will offer. Now, that's the thing, that we've offered 10 million euros for the year, if he signs the contract. That being said, that even though that's matched Real Madrid's offer, who's to say they can't go higher? You're absolutely right, mate. David Alaba's one that you've got to watch out for, people. I feel like most clubs in the Premier League take David Alaba. I feel like he's been a massive part of Bayern Munich. I'd love to see him at the club for sure. Anyway, from one Bundesliga defender to another, Liverpool reportedly held talks with Ozan Kabak back in November, but it didn't go beyond the initial talk stage. And basically, Kabak's expected to leave Schalke soon. It's just one of them things. Schalke haven't been doing great recently, and he's looking for a move. He's a very young, promising centre-back. He's only 23, 24. And even though Schalke are doing very poor at the minute, he's actually quite a good standout in that bunch. As a matter of fact, I saw a tweet here. Ozan Kabak plays for a very poor team currently in Schalke, only having one win in 16 games this season. They also have conceded 28 goals. Now, that was the first bit. And then the next bit was, although Kabak's team is poor, he is individually has some similar stats to Pau Torres, another centre-back that Liverpool have been linked with from Villarreal, and a centre-back that many people have said they'd love to bring into Liverpool based on what he offers. Anyway, although Kabak's team is poor, he is individually has similar stats to Pau Torres, and due to his team, it would be much, much cheaper. Yeah, so due to Schalke being poor, it would be a much cheaper option than Pau Torres. So if you would take Pau Torres, would you take Ozan Kabak? Now, like I said, these talks were held in November, but I'll carry on in a second. Let me just compare these stats between Ozan Kabak and Pau Torres. Two centre-backs Liverpool have been repeatedly linked with. But if you were going to choose one, most people would probably choose Pau Torres because he's doing it in La Liga. Villarreal are doing well. Anyway, get on this. So they both played... So Pau Torres has played 16 games this season to Kabak's 8. Pau Torres has had 4 clean sheets to Ozan Kabak's 0. But like I said, though, it's hard to get many clean sheets for your team if you're the only good centre-back. Interception, 0.9 per game for Pau Torres, 1 per game for Ozan Kabak. Tackles, 0.7 per game for Pau Torres, 0.9 for Ozan Kabak. Dribbles pass, 0.2 for Pau Torres, 0.4 for Ozan Kabak, and then clearances per game 3 to 3.3. Errors leading to a shot 0 to 0, and errors leading to a goal 0 to 0. So that basically means Ozan Kabak is one of probably the best youngish prospects that you can get right now. Obviously, people question some of the things he's done in the past in terms of his attitude. Other than that, why can you say no to a centre-back like that? And why would Liverpool not be in for him? And why wouldn't you try going beyond the initial talk stage? Because he's better than what we've got. That's all I need to keep stressing. We are not going to sign a centre-back, Upamecano, Kabak, Alaba, none of them. All of these are reported by journalists that are unreliable, and Klopp, Michael Edwards are not going to jeopardise their plan. Bradley, I agree. I do not think that these signings will go forward. It's not to say Liverpool aren't looking at centre-backs, because they very well could be. They just might have not found the right option for them yet. However, even if they do find that right option, I don't think they're going to get it over the line. I really, really do agree. But obviously, this show is here to talk about these things. Surely, it can't be all down to money. Have these players haven't got millions already? Surely, money can't be the motivation. Mate, I don't really know, mate. I'm not really sure what point in terms of money that you're trying to make there, because I don't know what I was talking about money, to be fair. These shows take me memory away, mate. Anyway, oh God, what have I done there? There we go. As Klopp said, it's such a difficult time to buy. Finances are tight with most teams. Yeah, but Kevin, I'm not going with that bullshit. Liverpool have got money. Liverpool have got money. If they're not buying a centre-back, it's because they don't want to go beyond to what they need to spend. But obviously, it's necessary. Do you get what I mean? We might not need a centre-back, but we could definitely do with one. And if this was Manchester City, and I know the funds are very, very different, but we've still got enough money to cough up 10 to 20 million for someone who's better than Reece Williams and Nat Phillips. I just don't know. If you're a Liverpool fan, yeah, that's going with this narrative. We've got no money, or we can't go, or we shouldn't go out and get a centre-back because what Klopp says is true. And listen, Jurgen Klopp's my manager, and I agree with him on most things. He's only coming out and saying this because he has to. Because the board would have said, obviously, listen, we're not going to get a centre-back. So what's Klopp going to do? Come into the press conferences and these interviews and start saying, oh, yeah, the board aren't getting me a centre. It never works that way. You find all that out after. We're not getting a centre-back, not because of Jurgen, but because of higher up. I can guarantee Jurgen has won a centre-back. I can guarantee it. He's not just sticking with... Why did he start Jordan Henderson at centre-back the other day? It's because Reece Williams and Nat Phillips aren't good enough. How can I get that point across to you more clearly? He knows Joel Matip's not reliable. He knows Joe Gomez can't be there for some of the games. So, I understand why you make that point, but it's a very pointless thing when you've got to realise what the actual reason of why we're not getting a centre-back is. They all know we need a centre-back. Let's not get daft. Do you know what I mean? Let's not get stupid, mate. Like, they know we need a centre-back, and they will get one if they weren't so tight on their arse, mate. We spent 60 million in the summer. We never even spent that much on Thiago and Jota combined, and that's being paid in instalments. So it's like, none of it makes sense. If we sign Alaba, I don't think we will. Same. Gomez will start performing very well in his position, challenged by two class centre-backs, so he needs to perform. That's another thing. Bringing in adjustments like Alaba, Kabak, Sven Botman, another player that wouldn't, another player that Liverpool are apparently no longer in talks with. These would elevate and motivate the players around them in a Gomez. You don't want these players getting too comfortable. The reason why Man United were able to dominate for such a long time is because they always kept getting reinforcements that added to the squad. Yes, the main players stayed, but they stayed and got better because there was people competing for their place. It's facts. And I'm sick of Liverpool getting to a position where we're fantastic and then we can just be one or two signings away from absolutely annihilating everyone else. That's my only frustration, because our squad is fantastic as it is, but it's very, very depleted, and we need to adapt to that. Naby Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, get them out the club in the summer. Naby Keita, I'll give a bit more of a roof. Oxlade-Chamberlain, I love him. He's fantastic. But there's two players that you can get out. People are saying Gini's 30. Well, get rid of Ox and Naby before you get rid of Gini, because he's better than both of them players and also more proven, and you're going to get more. He's probably played more games than them two combined. Not only that, you get rid of them two, you get rid of more Edwards within that squad. They're just the first two that comes to mind. I'm sure there's many, many more. But you use that and you reinvest that into players like Alaba, who's going to add to your team. You reinvest that into players like a Kabak, who's going to add to your team. Oxlade and Naby aren't adding anything to this squad, and it's nothing against them. Well, I have a little bit of a question against Naby, not really Ox. I know Ox has problems. Naby's a bit, I'm kind of 50-50 on him and what he kind of wants to do. Anyway, let's go out and start getting better players for this team. End of story, people. Make sure you're smashing the likes. 250 people are in here as we speak, and we've got one more thing that we want to get through. Someone's just asked me the question, Haaland or Mbappe. James, Diogo Jota for the win. I would say Haaland over Mbappe. That's just my personal opinion. Klopp wants to find a personality as well as the quality in a player when signing someone. Liverpool do not make impulsive transfers anymore, and the possibility of Liverpool signing in January is unlikely. But why does that have to still be the same approach? Just because they've done it in previous transfer windows, why do they have to go into this transfer window and do it? They don't, in my opinion. If you want to go out and win a Premier League and a Champions League again, and you want to do it in the same season this time, go out and improve. Do you hear what I'm saying? Sven Botman is a great option. 20 to 25 million, 21 years of age, left-footed sided centre-back. Wouldn't come in to expect to be in the first team straight away. Would be admired to just have the chance of wearing a Liverpool shirt. And not only that, he would actually get a chance to prove himself for half a season at the very least. Because Gomez is out, Van Dijk's out. And even when Van Dijk comes back, that can allow Fabinho to go back in midfield and then Sven and Van Dijk to play at the back. Am I the only one who's knowing that Liverpool can do much more here? Because we've got to January and we're first and we're doing really well, but we've still got many less points than what we should have. And obviously that's due to the finishing, and when the strikers start getting back in form, this won't be as much of a crisis. But for times for when the attackers aren't in form, you need a good backline, and we haven't got a good backline at the seconds. You always need to be covered in every area of the pitch. Yes, we'd be stronger with Diogo Jota, but he's injured. Yes, we'd be stronger with Joel Matip, but he's injured. 3 senior centre-backs we went into this season with, people. It really does not matter about when people say it's not Liverpool's style of thing to do when we don't go out in January and buy. Change that. We're in a different time now than what we was in 5 years ago. We were competing for Europa League 5 years ago. Now we're competing for leagues. But we're not where City was when they won 3 in a row. Do you get what I mean? It's hard to maintain. You need to buy players. End of story. James, love football dearly, and it's a big part of my life, and I want to make a living off it. I'm just wondering, are you trying to get into football journalism, commentary? Rip, Jerry Master. Yeah, first off, rip to Jerry as well, man. Said that on my Instagram a couple of days ago. And also, I'm not really trying to get it. I just want my own YouTube channel. That's why I've got this, my mate. So I'm not really trying to get into anything. I just love speaking about Liverpool, anything to do with it. I love a debate. That's why I'm doing this live show, so I can interact with you. And if I seem to get a bit emotional, don't take that personally. That's the debate. And you can come back at me in the comments and say whatever you want. Even if you're not watching this live, type in the comments what you agree and disagree with me on. Because I'm okay. I'm open to being wrong. I just want a reason backed for it. So if you can give me a reason to why I'm wrong, do it. But don't just say I'm wrong. Do you get what I mean? Liverpool can change their approach. They can go out and get a centre-back. I'm not just talking nonsense. They definitely got the money. It's just because Jurgen Klopp has to back whoever's above him making these decisions. Just whack me elbow. And has to stick to what he wants to do. He's not going to come out and say, oh, I want a centre-back when the higher-ups have told him we're not getting a centre-back. Do you get what I mean? Anyway, super chat from Mo. Thank you very much, Mo. I agree, injury-prone players need to be replaced. That's another thing. That's why I mentioned Naby and Ox. They don't add a lot to the squad because they're not available. Anyway, I'm actually going to be rambling on for too long for this point. So anyway, let's move on to the last bit that I wanted to talk about in Marko Grujic. Basically, Marko Grujic, and I only want to talk about this because I want to know your stance or the Liverpool fans' stance on Marko Grujic and whether you keep him at the club and whatnot. Basically, he feels misled by Klopp. He came out in an interview recently. I think it was a Serbian reporter that came and interviewed him. And he basically said, long story short, he feels misled by Klopp and some of the directors at the club. Basically telling him, you've got a lot of potential, we've got a place for you. And, you know, with hard work, you'll be able to get some games. Obviously, that hasn't happened, and he's now out on loan at Porto, and it's not gone well for him. He's had very few minutes at Porto, and it's not really going well when he is playing. Now, I want to ask you, would you take him back at Liverpool Football Club? Because another thing that he mentioned in this interview is, I would have stayed at Liverpool if these injuries weren't happening. You know what I'm saying? If these injuries, I would have stayed at Liverpool if I knew these injuries were going to take place. But when Thiago signed, I was thinking, where's my place in this squad? And it's annoying because Jurgen Klopp and directors over time have told me that I've got a chance of getting into the team, but it's just never quite materialised. I feel like Grujic had a game this season against Lincoln, I think. Let me know if I'm wrong, but he played well in that game also. And, just let me know what you think in the chat, because if you ask me, I wouldn't want Marco Grujic, not because he's not a good enough player, but that partly, but also to do with, I don't know if you remember the situation with Adrian, where he was like laughing at him at a bad performance. It was like when he first joined Porto. I didn't appreciate it. I don't think that's right from your fellow players, even if they're out on loan. Anyway, sell Grujic, he won't play. He is shaming and roasting his own teammates, which is disgraceful. I agree, and I think that's it. We can get a little bit of a fee for Grujic, even if it's only 5 to 10 million, mate. It's something that adds to these funds that apparently was skint. This is the most boring midfield in LFC, 40 years old. Boring. I mean, I'm not going to lie, mate. We've had a midfield of like Jake Speed and Aquilani and Steven Gerrard, and obviously exclude Steven Gerrard, that midfield shit. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know if this is the most boring midfield that you would have seen, especially with Thiago coming back in, but I suppose that is your opinion, and if you're 40 years old, then you might have forgot some seasons. You never know. Anyway, we need Alaba. He'll be a great link-up. Yes, I agree, Lewis. Right. Oh yeah, I actually can't find any comments of what I've gone past them. That's why I'm a moosh. Sell Grujic, he's going to Liverpool. He isn't going to Liverpool, he is going to United, you clown. Who's this? Alaba? I'd love to know when you've heard about David Alaba going to United. Nah, maybe he's linked, but he's linked with Liverpool as well. Hence why I'm talking about it. Anyway, people, that's going to be the roundup. For me, it's just to conclude that Grujic situation. I wouldn't take him, but I'm sure he would be a good option for elsewhere. But if he's not getting into Porto's first team, then how can he get into Liverpool's? Plus, we've got Curtis and whatnot absolutely flourishing through. That being said, though, with Oxlade-Chamberlain, Naby Keita possibly going soon, and James Milner not getting any younger, maybe that could open a door for him. So just know I'm open-minded to it. But again, that thing with Adrian can't put the nail in the coffin. Anyway, people, make sure that you like the video. And also, thank you for watching this. Obviously, you've been enjoying these live transfer shows. I've loved delivering them to you. Obviously, yesterday, I had a little bit of a day off. But I'm back, and we've got a show, like I said, with expressions later on. And Rory Jennings, Mr. Delectable Medley of Football. He will be on there as well, and we're going to laugh at him about Chelsea, which will be absolutely marvellous. But yeah, people, like I said, make sure you smash the like, subscribe. And before I go, thank you for the £1 donation from OJ Gravity. Anyway, nice one. I'll see you all later. Peace out, my people.